try something different. All right. What's up, y'all? This is Nay. Some of you may know me as the Collectible. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And for those who have been riding with me since for day one, can't even talk. Anyways, welcome back, guys. So I'm gonna try something different today. I'm gonna try something different because I was talking to a friend and I forgot what the hell we were talking about, but I started getting in my zone and they were like, stop, that's content right there. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have a topic for that. So I put a topic to that, but I want to try, instead of me, coming off like I'm teaching it as a lesson, I just want to talk and see if I get different feedback. And what I'm basically going to be talking about is my experience, my struggles with being a people pleaser. And I'm just going to get real transparent. Hopefully you can relate to some situations if you are a people pleaser. And I'm going to share some of the ways that I have learned to outgrow that. But it took for me to become an adult for me to realize I was a people pleaser. And I didn't really realize that. I knew I was selfless. And when I used to be told I was so selfless, I really never understood that because I never dug deep down enough to really figure out what that meant. I mean, I knew the basics, but like how it was affecting me, I never really took the time out to dive deep into that until I just got to a point in my life where they got so dark, so lonely, and I had no choice but to be in those emotions. Like, what is this? What is this called? But anyways, so let's talk about people pleasing. People pleasing, guys. People please. First of all, people that are doing it, they don't even realize that they're doing it. But people please because at the end of the day, it's fulfilling them in a way. It's fulfilling them in a way whether they're seeking for approval or some type of validation, but that is an internal insecurity within self. And a lot of times it comes from trauma like PTSD. I know, like when I was a little girl, see, this is the thing, y'all. I hate talking about my childhood because everyone thinks I had this perfect childhood because you know how it is, the outside always looking in. And to be honest, my life did not suck. If you look at it like, no, I wasn't completely in poverty. I wasn't the richest kid in the world, but I had a pretty good life. Compared to others, I'm pretty grateful. And I'm pretty fortunate. But I still lived a single mother life, half of my childhood life, and that was hard. But even before then, I noticed like, I dealt with a lot of indifferences growing up as a child. I felt like I was the ugly daughter. I felt like my mom and my sister, because she had a better grade of hair than me, and my mom had basically white girl hair, I just felt different. I felt like I did not fit in, and I felt like the ugly duckling. I compared myself a lot. My mom also held me up to a certain measure. You guys, I was like junior high. My mom is very petite. Her daughter is petite, my sister. My sister has a really nice shape. She's like a petite, but she's like kind of thicker, but it like fits her like in a sporty way. It looks very nice on her. She's proportioned really nicely. Me, I was always curvier. So I was always bustier. I had wider hips, thicker thighs, a butt compared to my mom and my sister. So it was like, I looked it different. And to my mom, I guess because at a younger age, because I developed so quickly, I don't know what people were saying to her that it must have triggered her or bothered her, but because my body was compared to what could look like as an adult, which would have adults looking at me in that way, my mom degraded me. And I never asked her because I can't just have these conversations with my mom. So I never really asked her, like, you know, because she won't even admit that she did this. And from talking to her and her just recently, for once, venting to me about some of her childhood, I realized, oh, sis, I was fucking doomed to begin with. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I know we choose our parents. Well, I personally believe that. And, you know, we all have our own thoughts. But they say we don't. But from what I really believe and what I've studied, we choose our parents. And clearly, my soul wanted to come back and have this experience. And I needed to learn something from them. But until I knew what I knew or learned what I learned, I did not know that once upon a time. I did not believe that. I did not think that. And I thought that, like, I had no relevance here. And here I am, growing up, always trying to get achievements, always trying to do this. Lord, let me not get a C. I got a C one time and I was on punishment into the next quarter. I was living in Japan. I'm like, in the 4th or 5th grade. And you guys, I spent a lot of time in my room. I spent a lot of time in my room. And I was never a bad child. Like, if I compare to stories that other people tell me, I was never a bad child. But I was always treated like a bad child. I had a smart mouth. And as a child, I was really not trying to be smart. I was just really trying to, like, please, let me just tell you what I was trying to do. Maybe I won't get in trouble. Maybe you won't think I'm such a bad person. But I always felt like I was this bad person. My mom used to, they say sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. My mom's words hurt me. That's all I had. She was all I had. Like, my dad, I didn't really have a relationship with my father. I didn't really have a relationship with my father for me to feel safe and comfortable. What is the point of doing makeup? How the hell did I know I was going to be crying to y'all? What the fuck? But I didn't have a relationship to talk to him about certain things. My mom interfered fear in me as a child. When I got in trouble, she would always call your dad. And the only time that I would talk to my dad was when I was in trouble. My dad never has raised his voice at me. And I fear this man. I feared him for so long. And he's the most gentlest person in the world. But he doesn't really open up. He doesn't really, share a lot. The first time I've ever seen my dad cry was at his father's funeral. I was mad at my dad, y'all. But I felt his emotions. I felt that energy, and I just felt sadness, and I just went and hugged my daddy. But I used to fear this man. And he wasn't around in a way that I needed him to be around, so I just felt very alone a lot of times as a child. So as growing up, I became very introverted. I was so scared of my mom that I wouldn't take risks that my friends took as a child. When I would do things like try to dance and stuff, my mom in front of everybody, like with my girls making up dances when you was little, she used to always say something smart, so I just didn't want to do it. I just got shy. I'm to the certain extreme, y'all. I gotta feel a certain, I can't just like feel comfortable and dance because I always have to compare myself, or like, now when I don't give a and I'm just like, in my zone or whatever, I'm like, oh. But like, because I would be so stiff, scared to move, worried about what she would say, and that shit is still affecting me to this day. As a grown-ass woman, my mom, I had no room for mistakes. Like, my life was so artificial. I grew up as a military brat, and as a military brat, I learned diversity, which I'm very grateful for, but like also as an adult, I hear friends and people going through real life crazy situations, which once upon a time, I didn't even live in that rim or knew it existed. It's fucking high school. Y'all should have seen how I was. I got a real reality check. I could not believe I was going to school with a homeless person. I mean, not a homeless person, a foster child. Oh my God. a foster child. Couldn't believe it. Like, I just couldn't believe, like, because I've never heard of that. I came from, like, everybody had families, you know, mom, dad in the household, living in the military. Like, it just wasn't common. So it was just like, this is weird. So when my mom had gotten a divorce, like, I feel like I was pleasing her even more, or trying to please her even more, because it's like she took a lot of frustrations out on me. Or if I made mistakes, she was so harsh on me. And I used to be told things like by my family, like, you know, when I was in high school going through certain things, they'd be like, you know, your mom said this, this, and that, but she's now talking to you, she didn't say this part or that part. And I'd just be like, or they'd say things like, she's jealous of you. And I'd be like, as a kid, like, why would my parent be jealous of me? And I don't think that's the case. You know, people have their perceptions, but hearing this stuff and going through certain things, the energy that you will gain and feel, the rage, the anger. And I can go on and on. I don't want this to be about bashing my mom, because that's not what it is. I love my mom. But that shit, and again, there's no manual to this parenting shit. But that type of stuff, like, that messes you up today. That messes you up. That messes up relationships. That messes up positions, promotions. That affects you, especially when you don't know what's going on. And that's why, like, one of the reasons why I'm really starting this channel. The channel been started, but I'm just now, like, really doing what I really want to do. And this is to help people. People pleasing was, like, really ruining my life. I was people pleasing in relationships, like seeking this validation. You guys, I will feel so confident, and I will call 5, 6 people to tell them, basically, to get them an opinion. And an ex had to point that out, like, that's an insecurity. And I've realized, like, damn, I didn't even realize, like, wow, that's really what that is. Like, I'm still seeking validation. Why am I not confident enough? And then you start looking like, what are you scared of? Is it for a certain success? Or, I mean, I can go on and on about, you know, as far as digging deep to where does this come from. But why am I seeking validation? Because I spent so much time trying to make everybody else happy, just to fit in, just to feel good, doing other things that really did not resonate, but me putting somebody else before me because I just wanted to feel like I belonged. And when you really learn how to get out of that, oh my God, you guys, it be feeling like your throat chakra opens up, your heart chakra opens up, your third eye opens up. It feels like every sense is so clear, and you feel. You don't have to be so cloudy up in here. You feel. You really feel what is really going on. And you don't have to get clarity. You don't have to call people and ask questions. You know, that inner knowing, like the intuition, the real intuition that people be really talking about. That shit really works, y'all. Y'all need to tap in, like, with yourselves. Y'all really need to tap in with yourselves. Y'all really need to learn these emotions that you're feeling, you guys. Do you know that people know that there are hundreds and hundreds of emotions? But do you know that people only know really how to articulate 5 to 7 when it comes to expressing how they feel? And then the other person that knows for damn sure they're not getting it, they're like, well, I'm not doing that. Then they take offense because they don't know no better. And they're like, you're gaslighting it. And you know, it just goes back and forth, and there's no understanding of each other. How can we be out here co-creating and having relationships if we're not taking the time out to understand anybody? You owe that to yourselves. You owe that to your loved ones. The things that you believe in, the things that you stand for, you owe getting you together so you can see clear for yourself, so you can be better for yourself, so you can be better for everyone else. You guys owe that to yourself. If you're people pleasing, the first thing that you can start doing is become self-aware. Self-aware. Just become aware that you're doing it. Like, just look into yourself and be like, damn, this is me. She talking about me. I do some of these things. Look up people pleasing, yo. Learn about it. Do I have some of these characteristics, and dive deep and see, why am I doing this shit? And then look and see, do it make me feel good? Because if it don't make you feel good, why are we doing that? And that's the thing. We get so far away from being who we really truly are because we're so caught up into doing other things for other people. We lose sight of who we are and we get disconnected. That's why we don't be in alignment. You can't even hear from God because you're not even listening to God. And it's not because it's not on purpose. It's because down here is so cloudy and you have no clarity. You can't even hear clear. You can't even see clear. So work on you. Y'all know I'm going to preach meditation. I might learn how to really like put meditations on here and start doing those with y'all if y'all gonna do it. But I need some feedback because y'all need to tap in with yourselves and heal some of this inner trauma because you owe it to yourselves. You owe it to yourselves. But I've been talking y'all to death. Y'all done see me cry. This video is a little longer than I wanted it to be, but this was good. If you guys got anything from this video, because this is a little different than the style that I was going, but I'm trying to find my flow of things. I just want to get your feedback. Oh shit, I'm spilling wine. Yes, I'm drinking wine. No, it's not 5. I think it's only 1 o'clock and I don't care because we drink mimosas for breakfast. But let me know what y'all think about the video. Tell me if this was helpful. Tell me if you could relate, what you got out of it, what you would like going forward. Compared to the other videos that I've been doing, I'm just trying to find my speed. I'm trying to figure out what connects best with you guys. So that was me like just getting deep in my zone. That was without me having my little notes. That was without me being rehearsed. That was with me just freestyling. I didn't even know I could do that. Y'all got me on here crying and stuff.